So, give you guys a little tour here of what I'm working on. I mentioned this in a prior video, but what I'm trying to do right now is get my subsoil broken up. This dirt, as I call it, I wouldn't hardly even call it soil, honestly. This dirt is extremely compacted. And that is from my own abuse, running back and forth over with heavy equipment for years. That's from digging and turning and baling and mixing it all up, and then having all the vegetation off of it, so there's not even plant roots poking down through it to help break it up. So this stuff is packed hard, tight. I mean, you come at, honestly, I used a pickaxe to help plant a couple trees last spring, and it didn't work very well because now they didn't grow well. So what I'm doing is trying to break up that subsoil as deep as I can, and I'm not a big fan of tilling, really. But see, I'll show you this dirt. You squeeze it tight, and you see it's got clay in it. It breaks apart. It's got sand in it, but it's got clay and silt in it to where when this gets rained on, it's like cement. It just packs right back in. So what I'm trying to do is go through and break it up as deep as I can. So the first thing I've done is I went through with my middle buster plow. I think I mentioned in a prior video I busted my single share plow, so all I have left is the middle buster. So I'm going through with the middle buster plow, and I just plowed as deep as I could with that. And then now I'm running across the top with this tiller, courtesy of my father-in-law, and just tilling as deep as I can. Try to break it all up. You know, I don't intend to plant my vegetables directly into this soil. I learned last spring that didn't work very well because it packs really tight around the roots and their root bound didn't grow. So all I'm really trying to do is just undo all the damage I did of years of compaction on it just by breaking it up. Then I'm going to be going back through, once I've got it all tilled, I'm going to run back through it with some field radish that I bought. So all I'm doing now, as you can see, it's got all sorts of choppy low spots, high spots, footprints, and tiller marks all through it. Just trying to knock those down and kind of level it out just to make a good seed bed. Seems like an awful lot of work, I know, and it is, but it's really not as bad as it looks. I mean, I'm doing 4 foot at a time. I think I'm only about 40 foot by 40 foot here, so it'll go pretty quick. You'll notice I'm holding the rake upside down. If you flip it over, your tines want to grab dirt, pull a lot to you. Hold it upside down, just uses it more as a float. Lets it kind of cut down through the dirt, smooth it a little easier. And actually, if you get lucky, your tines will break up some clods too. So, we'll get this wrapped up here, and then we'll be ready to seed. You like being barefoot in that dirt?
Yeah.
What are we going to put here?
I don't know.
The garden. Bear, what are you doing?
She's putting dirt in her shoes.
That dirt feels nice on the bare feet, doesn't it? Feels really nice.
Can we show pictures?
Yeah. When I'm done working, y'all just keep playing. Okay. Well, there it's all raked out. That didn't take too long, maybe 20 minutes. Maybe, I don't know. I got interrupted along the way by the neighbor and then by the wife and by these little beauties right here. But it's all raked out and leveled, pretty smooth. I got the little low spot down there in the corner filled in. I actually I took a bucket of dirt from right here and drove it in. Of course, then I had tractor tracks, so I had to fire the tiller back up, till it back out. But that was fine. It didn't take but a minute or two. And it really wasn't as compacted. I thought the tiller broke it real easy. So, all raked out and prepped. I guess I need to go get some radish seed and some plastic. I don't feel like going to town yet. I'll find something else to do. Okay, I went and measured out the little garden plot just for fun. I think I mentioned in the video I thought it was about 40 by 40, and it is. It's about 35 by 40 that's usable, which is cool because I feel like I know what I'm talking about because I just looked at it and guessed. And that's about right because I was wanting rows about 40 feet long, and that's the way I'm laying them out is on the 40 foot. I was wanting rows about 40 feet long so that I can get a 50-foot long strip of plastic and know that it will be absolutely enough to cover each row. So that's kind of the plan there. But I got my radish seed here. This is they call it a fracking daikon radish. I'm not sure why they call it a fracking radish. Maybe just because that's its purpose is to get down and break up the dirt. I'd never heard that term before for a radish, but I'll have to look that up. Anyway, I got it from OutsidePride.com. I don't know anything about Outside Pride. This is not an advertisement for them. I just looked because I was looking online for seed, and this is a 5-pound bag. It was like $10 for a pound or 20 for 5. So it's like, okay, gonna get the 5-pound bag. It says seed it at 8 to 10 pounds per acre or a quarter to half per 1,000 square feet. So if I'm 40 by 40, that's 1,600. So I should use not even a pound of seed out of this bag. And I'll find other places to use the rest of it. So don't worry about that. But anyway, I was looking online, and it was pretty much across the board. It was $20 for 5 pounds. And so I just grabbed this because this was on Amazon, and it was easier than trying to go set up an account with somebody I hadn't bought stuff from before. I just got it through Amazon. So I guess I'll link all that below. It's got to be linked so you guys can go buy what I got. Yeah, that's about it. Daikon radish. Let's get it planted. We are just going to hand broadcast. Starting far in. What the heck? Oh, right here. I have no idea what my seeding rate is, but I feel like I'm pretty good with this hand broadcast thing. I guess I should have some sort of marker as to what I've done. So I'm going about 4 feet either side of my walk pattern here. And I'm leaving a trail of footprints, so that gives me a reference to go off of. I really have gotten a decent little technique for hand seeding. I've been seeding grass all over the place. And the kids filled my little crank seeder up with dirt and sand one too many times. It broke. I'll show you guys, try to show you what I do here. So when I'm seeding, it's kind of hard to explain without a handful of seed, but I grab a handful of seed, but I leave my pointer finger sticking out, and that's kind of like my little kicker, like an impact sprinkler. And so I get a handful of seed, I let a little bit leak out through my fingers, but I'm sitting there flicking, and I'll actually roll quite a bit off that finger. It's kind of, like I said, it's hard to imagine that it works that well, but it feels like it does anyway. Let's see, there was my last row. About here. Get too much of a handful, then you're messy. So you don't want to get a full handful. Get too much, it all falls out. You don't really get a good flick on it. And I try to throw out about 5 to 6 feet in front of me as a starter, and then of course I'm going to drop more as I go over that same spot. All right. Yeah, I put out maybe a pound. All right. Seeding's done. Now I'm getting real fancy with it. And we're going to straw it. Again, I'm treating it pretty much just like I'm planting grass. But that's because I want to get a really good germination on it. So we're going to straw it, and then we'll get the sprinkler going. have my straw mats from when I was seeding grass in the yard, but that material that those mats are made out of, that's supposed to be so photodegradable, doesn't seem to be degrading very quickly, and I don't want to be dealing with all of it in my garden. All right, well, there she's strawed in. That was both those bales. I didn't quite have enough. I would have liked to have done a few more feet over there on the side, but strawing it in is maybe overkill anyway, so we're just gonna roll with it and see what happens. I'm gonna lay out water hoses. I've got hose to get out here. I know I do, because I've run hose out to the sawmill before. So I'm gonna go get my impact sprinkler and put it over in this corner right there, and soak her down and roll out the plastic. I have been stockpiling garden hoses for years, it seems like, and this is why. Because now I can run them all the way out here from the house to where the future garden will go. Of course, long term we'll want to get actual irrigation buried out here, but this ought to be a good stopgap for now. I got her hooked up running. I'm just checking the kick on it. The spread's good. It's not hitting my compost pile. Need to extend the range just a little bit on the sets here. So come on around. I've learned with these little impact sprinklers, you know, you can flip them back and forth and kind of see where it'll go before you turn it on. But that always, what it shows as its range when you test it like that, seems to be more than what it actually does when you turn the water on. It seems like once you turn the water on, it kicks back earlier than what it feels like it should. So we're getting all the way over there now to pass the straw, and we're coming over here on the left, right there, which is right on the edge of the straw. I may have to manually walk out there and spray about where the dog's at. It doesn't look like it's quite reaching that far. But we're gonna let it run here for, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. I really don't want to get it soggy, sloppy wet, since I just tilled it all and I've got to walk across the still to stretch plastic. So I don't want it to get too wet. So yeah, let's let it run for a while and get her damp, and then the plastic will hold that moisture in so it'll germinate really well. All right, we get our plastic out now. I didn't get to it yesterday evening like I wanted to. Had a bit of a surprise trip I had to take to go get some hay. It turns out there's a shortage of hay, and I had to go get some while I could still get it. So here's our plastic. These are 20 by 50 sheets. So I'm gonna try to get it just rolled out, stretched out however I can here. Guess that was a 50-foot invention. I watered it in yesterday. Still damp. Oh yeah. I think that amount of moisture is going to be just about perfect. I realize now the smart thing would have been to roll it out already. There, out.
Why? Why? Why can we step? What can we step? Now what can we step? Can I step on that?
There, move, honey. Move. All right. Well, there it all is laid out, and I got to tell you guys, pretty cool. I'm starting to feel like a commercial gardener. Whether or not how I feel is how they really feel, but this is neat. It's so clean, which, I mean, I'm not saying what I did was clean, but it's just nice to get it all stretched out. I went ahead and threw down the boards on. I pegged the corners and along some of the edges, and then threw the boards on just for a little extra, just because I've got them. Might as well use them. I don't know if it's supposed to get windy. I think we're supposed to have a pretty good storm tomorrow at some point. So hopefully it doesn't blow up a big wind and rip all this off. That would really suck. But it's pegged down, boarded down. And like I said, with the good moisture, of course now it's cloudy, so we can't get any sun. But if we get any sunshine, man, it's gonna heat this plastic up and warm that soil underneath to get that turnip going. That's the plan. Or radish, I'm sorry. I went ahead and tarped my compost pile too, just to keep the rain off of it, because it's pure composted cow manure. It's very gooey. It's like Play-Doh. Like, it's kind of hard to work with when it's wet, but when it gets dry, it's very, very easy to work with. So I want to try to keep it dry as much as I can. That tarp's not perfect, but it's going to help a lot more than having nothing. So plastic stretched out. We'll give her a week or so, I guess, to see. And I'll be peeking under the tarp every couple days, and when I start to see little green sprouts coming up, we'll pull these tarps off and have us a nice little field of radish. That's the plan anyway. We shall see.